Yo, what's good? What's good? You're now tuned into the Triple M Show, Money Making Mindset. I am your amazing host, Abram Mitchell, and today I have some special guests with me. How would y'all like to be addressed?
The Sotos.
Yeah,
The Sotos. Okay, we got Sairi and Jose Soto in the house today. Man, this will be a special conversation. Because there's some special people that we got on the show today. So I'm gonna start by just getting right into it. So y'all talk to me. Tell me about how y'all met. Talk to us about that.
Story.
Um,
Of course,
10 years
y'all are
ago.
real estate investors. They're real estate investors. And you
Yeah.
tune into this show and don't know that we real estate investors, then you ain't tuned in enough. So talk to us about how y'all met.
don't ask me about specific dates,
Okay.
you know.
Mm-hmm.
But we met 10 years ago,
Okay.
high school. Saw her again at the club.
All right.
Didn't say a single word. Went back home, Twitter, sent her a DM, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Started talking. From that point on, we just, I don't know, we couldn't set up a date, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But started dating, started doing good. 5, 6 years later, got married. We've been married now for 4 years.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah.
so
That's what's up.
doing real estate together for 2 years, I want to say, 2-3 years.
Maybe 3 years. Yeah, 3 years.
Okay.
Doing real estate together full time for less than a year.
7 months.
Okay.
Yeah,
7
'cause
months,
she
full-time.
left her nursing job. So
Okay. Gotcha. So who was in real estate first? Like, were y'all both in real estate when y'all met, or like how did that kind of come?
I was in college for nursing, so had my nursing career. I graduated 2019, and while I started my job, he started I think he was in the process of like getting mentored by a builder. That's
Okay.
when he was doing his whole builder
yeah,
thing.
I it was 2018. I was working for a company.
Okay.
I was a phone agent, then a chat agent. Went to work from home. I hated it. You know, I needed some other type of income.
Yeah.
So started looking up how to make money online, rent into stocks, rent into all types of, you know, businesses. And then I saw bigger pockets.
Bigger pockets.
I feel like everybody
At some point, seeing bigger pockets.
sees that,
Yeah.
you know.
They got some good info on there.
They have really good info, especially for beginners. But doing bigger pockets, I started working, you know, I knew I wanted to do something real estate related.
Yeah.
So my dad's friend knew a builder. So I worked for that builder for 2 years, 0 pay. It was just all learning.
Okay.
So
Now I want to get into that a little bit more. So you worked for a builder for 0 pay.
yeah,
And most people in today's age, if you mention the word work and no pay, then
Money.
it's over with.
Yeah.
I'm gone.
Yeah.
So what would you say, like, even like, why would you even think like that? Like, how old were you when that happened?
It was 5 years ago, 25.
yeah.
Okay, so you
24,
24, 25 years.
Yeah.
You probably just, I don't know if you went to college, but you just getting into like real world where like you.
I went to college for a semester. It wasn't for me.
Wasn't
You know,
good.
it just wasn't for me.
Nothing wrong with that.
I did have a business right after college, or right after I dropped out. You know, my dad, she was like, I'm not gonna date a bum. You know, you need to do something. You know,
That's what she
So-
told you?
yeah, pretty much.
Because she was in nursing school, so she was getting
Well,
other
I
good.
just wanted to be with somebody that was successful and that had,
Okay.
you know, that was going to give us a good life. I didn't want to be with somebody who was not ambitious, didn't want to make any money, just wanted to work hourly for somebody forever.
Yeah.
So we did have that conversation.
Yeah, so, you know, with that in mind, I go to my dad, and he's driving semi-trucks at this point, you know?
Okay.
And he had his personal truck that he drove, and he had another truck with a driver. And turns out that my cousin is selling all of his trucks. So I get my savings, I buy myself a truck. I never drove. I don't have the Class A driver's license. I don't have any of that, but I did put a driver on it. I remember I paid $22,000 for that first truck. Put a driver on it. By the end of that year, I had a second truck already with another driver, each bringing in, $800 to $1,000 a week.
At 20.
24, 25. Yeah.
Okay.
So
you had that hustle in you already.
Yeah, and I had my job where I was making like $22 an hour.
Okay.
You know, taking calls and stuff like that. So when I decided to go work for this builder, I was slacking on the job. I got fired from that. Thank God. Till today, it's been the best thing that happened.
Yeah.
And I got fired from that job, went straight into the construction, and I want to say like 4 or 5 months into working for this guy, I had the opportunity to build my first house.
Okay.
Under his license, with his supervision, just my money. And that's, I mean, I did, between me and my dad together with him, we did 22 properties.
Okay.
From scratch.
Okay.
Yeah,
so go back
That's
to
impressive.
the whole employee conversation because it happened.
It was like I've never worked this hard, but I worked that hard because I wanted to prove to him that I was worth it. You know, I'm talking about if equipment needed to be ready on Monday morning, I was there on Sunday, checking, connecting the trailer, moving, excavators, dozers, bobcats to the job site.
You was getting it in.
Just so when people came in at 6 a.m. in the morning, everything was there ready. And he saw that, he saw those things.
And that was your mentor at the time, right?
That was my mentor.
Okay.
Yeah. Anything that's the thing that I appreciate that he did with me. He kept me on the passenger seat.
Okay.
And every time he met with somebody and they were talking, I was listening. And if they said, you know what, let's meet on Monday at 6 p.m., I would grab my phone and text them, you have a meeting on Monday at 6 p.m. with Abram.
6 a.m.
6 a.m. or whatever, Yeah. But anything he was doing, like, I was keeping...
You bringing value.
Adding it to my calendar. And I would call and be like, Pedro, we got this auction tomorrow at 3. And then he'd be like, crap, I forgot. Can you make it? And then he started trusting me with that stuff. And then he would say, go to it, bid on it up to this price, call me if you get it. And I would go, bid on it, call him, he would trust me with money. It got to the point where at the end of the 2 years, I was running 11 houses for him at the same time. So I was running his business at that point. So
I want to kind of back it up a little bit. So you was in the trucking business, not in it really, you owned the trucking business. And you was making good money from that, and you decided to go from making good money to not making money at all.
Yeah.
So that obviously got to do with vision.
Yeah.
So what even like made that transition? Like you wanted to be in real estate. That you had to want to be in real estate pretty bad to,
I just wanted. I think I wanted something bigger than just trucking.
Okay.
For me, trucking, you got to deal with the drivers. They don't take care of the trucks. The truck is depreciating. Every day it goes out and drives, 200-300 miles.
Okay.
All the services, I pay $22,000 for it. By the time I sell it, it's worth $15,000. And what I learned with real estate was that if I buy a $100,000 home, I rent it, I'm making money. But when I sell it 5 years from now, maybe $220,000, $230,000, depending on the area where I bought it. I can always refinance it. I can take out more money. I can leave it to my kids. You can do a whole lot more with real estate than you can with trucking. So, yeah, it was easy for me to sell truck number 2, get that money, sell my car, get that money, take out the money from the 401k and put it all into a piece of land and build a house.
So you're at that vision. You already knew, like, we talk a lot about vision and strategy, and at the end of the day, like, although it wasn't going to happen right then and there, you knew, okay, I get this truck off, I get that truck off, I'm going to get some money in my pocket. Then you said the 401k, and I'm going to use that to put into my first deal. All at the same time, you was learning the business.
Yeah.
You was learning the business.
The hardest thing I did back in that day was selling my car.
Okay. What kind of car you had?
I had a 05 red S2000. It's.
Oh, y'all posted up in that thing last week.
So Instagram, you got all your followers. Everybody followed me for that car. It was just my baby. Like during that time, it just like that's what you're focused on. You know? So
it was a convertible too.
Yeah. So when I sold that car, that was my dream at that time. I was like, okay, I got to make something happen. Like one day I'll buy that car back and do whatever I got to do. But now I got to take out the 401k, sell the car. I had like a Honda Ruckus scooter. Like I was into that life, you know? And the truck, and you said everything was clear. Nothing was clear then. What was clear was that Pedro, my mentor, was doing it, and it worked for him. So I looked at everybody around me. I was like, my cousins have trucks. My dad has trucks. Yeah, they're making money, but they're not successful. You know, who's successful? This guy. He's got 50 rental properties paid for. He's building 90 houses in 3.5 acres. Like,
how you met Pedro?
Through my dad's friend. Just talking to people, telling them, hey, this is what we want to do. And then he was like, oh, I know a builder. Yeah. And we went and met up with them, you know.
Bro, that's crazy. I can relate to that story because my parents owned and operated a glass business while I came up. And although like it was a good way to work for yourself and generate money, I was just looking like, okay, you got a glass business. One of our cousins, he has a glass business, but y'all working every single day. Working every single day. And, you know, I just came across wholesaling one day. We'll talk more about that later. But I also saw real estate as a way of, okay, I might work very, very hard starting off, you know, I don't care if it's 5, 10, 15 years, but I know at one point I'm gonna look up and I'm gonna have that freedom and security that pretty much everybody really wants, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, okay, all this going on and y'all just had to talk. She said, hey, I need you to get on your stuff. Well, so what's going on with you at this time while he learning?
Oh, she's holding down.
Okay.
I mean, she's paying the bills.
It was a hard conversation because I come from like a very like traditional Mexican culture, and so it's the typical, the man handles all the bills, handles everything, and I just get to keep my money and do whatever I want. So this is completely different. So it was like a big shock to I guess, to me and my family and everybody around me, for him to come and say, well, now this girl has her career, hold it down, and then, like, I don't know when this is going to end. I can't tell you an end date. I can't tell you anything, really, but you'll just have to trust me. So it was a hard transition. We had our wedding going on by that time, and I started my career, and we did. I mean, we made it work. It was 4 years that I worked in the hospital. And whenever he actually left his partnership, that's when I felt things really kind of go up for us.
Okay. That's when you made a decision you was gonna marry her, huh? She's holding it down.
For sure. Bro, I mean, who does that? You know, like
talk a little about that. You don't really
especially when you have your whole family, like, you know, talking and saying like, what's going on? Like, this guy doesn't pay for this. This guy doesn't buy that.
Who pays the bills? Like, what's happening? Because
I ended up selling my second truck. I was like, this truck business is. I don't want this taking my time. Like, I want real estate. Like, I want to build another one and another one. You know. So, sold the business. Done with that. So no more income coming in. Also, from the whole build, I would build one, put the money back in. I will build another one.
There's no income. Yeah. And I was seeing how much he was making per house, and I was like, okay, like there has to be some sort of percentage, something has to be coming in. I would ask him, and he's like, no, babe, like 100% gets reinvested. And I'm like, what the heck?
Yeah. So y'all got some trust there.
Yeah, so
had some trust.
I did one, money back in. I did another one, money back in. By the third one, I could do one with the bank, and then one with my own money. And then that's when things started duplicating. I was doing 2 at a time.
Like, hey, we could go half on the bill now.
4, and I was doing all that. And yes, I left my partnership, and she was happy, but she was like, what's going on? Where's the money? Like, I don't see anything. And we had like 3 builds going on at the same time. Okay. And I was like, here's the bank account. And there was like $400K or something in it. She was like, okay, like there's money.
I just needed some reassurance.
You had to see it.
Yeah, but
I just needed some reassurance.
Yeah, but everything till today, we don't make $1 from our rentals.
No. Okay. I was just talking to him. We're actually driving, was it yesterday or 2 days ago? We were driving in Springfield, and we had been talking to a friend, and he was mentioning how I think he has, 3 or 4 rentals, he's like, all of my 3 or 4 rentals, they pay for my bills. And I was like, what the heck? Like, my rentals don't pay for my bills. Like, what are we doing? And he was like, well, we don't get any money for our rentals. Like, our rentals are all, like, all the money that comes in, it gets reinvested to either another rental or to fix and remodel whatever one we have left. And, I mean, to be completely honest, I'm like, we could be really sad. We wouldn't even have to work if we were receiving that money from our rentals, but we have been putting a big we've been reinvesting and we've been sacrificing.
Yeah.
And I mean, the money's there. It's just
so why you think why are y'all like sacrificing more than like the normal person would?
I put a age on like me stopping is 35. I'm 30 now, so I got 5 years. I think property, like owning property, is very important.
Yeah.
Not just for the rent, like. The rent is great. It's allowing me to continue to reinvest and do more things. But next thing you know, like somebody's building a Starbucks next to your property and they need extra parking and they're offering ridiculous amount.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm the owner. I get to decide what happens or what doesn't happen. So I like owning properties because of that. I like owning properties because I can refinance, and with the money I get from one, I can fix 5 like I'm doing now. Like, I like owning properties because the second house that I bought was for $35,000, right? I put $4,000 to repair it. That same house, the bank appraised it for $100,000 and gave me a loan to buy 10 properties.
Oh wow!
No money from my pocket, you know. So
yeah, early
on, I learned what the importance was of owning properties when it came to that.
Big assets, for sure.
That's what we want more, honestly. Just
so the bank gave you money to buy 10 properties.
Yeah, I paid cash for a house, 35. I still own that house too.
Okay.
$35K, put like $4,000, $4,800 to fix it. It's, I don't know how people live in there. Like, it's not the greatest house. I still have it there. Yeah, I still have it there. It's like the worst house we own.
Rent's so high right now that it's like,
it
but the bank has a lien on it to be able to give me a loan for 10 of the properties.
It was our down payment
so
for
I
the 10 properties.
Okay, so the 10 properties that y'all got. So walk me through that. Like, is it all in one area? Or is it like 10 properties spread out across the city?
No, that's why we changed the name Soto Circle. It's a street and a cul-de-sac, and it has 10 single family homes.
Exactly the same properties, yeah.
All 2, 1 bedroom, 1 bath. They're all the same floor plan, same siding, door, gutters, everything.
And how y'all getting in front of all these properties that y'all buying? Like the 10 properties that y'all bought, obviously that was one homeowner. We talked about this deal before, but so I want y'all to just talk about like that deal specifically, like from start to finish.
I think you can take that because that was at the beginning of real estate for us.
I'm sure you know every street up and down in this area. It's just like your area. So that was the same for me in Springfield.
Okay.
My lunch breaks, I would go, drive through, grab whatever I was eating, and just drive.
Just drive for dollars.
I knew when people cut their lawn. I knew when they had visitors over. I knew when their sister was in because of I just talked to everybody.
They probably thought you a neighborhood watch or something.
Everything, you know? So I stopped by this house that I knew the city was having issues with because someone was staying in the property that wasn't paying rent, like a squatter. And they had taken care of that issue. So I went to the city, got the person's number. Okay. Leroy Brown, like to this day, the best.
Shout out Leroy.
Ended up buying that house from him.
All right.
For like $38K, right?
Okay.
The deal went great. We're at the closing table, and I'm like, Leroy, I know you have more properties. I know you have something that's giving you a headache. You know, like just sitting here, like across the closing table. Yeah. And he laughed, and he's like, yeah. You're not gonna like this one though. You know, I got something for you. And he gave me the address. I still got the video. Like, I was driving, recording, and I just did a quick. I was like, I'm not stopping. Like, this place is horrible. You could smell like the drugs. It just wasn't good.
Oh, you was in the cut.
Yes. It was horrible. So But yeah, just driving for dollars, made that relationship. The deal went great. He trusted me with that house.
We weren't even going to get the deal. That deal sat there for like, I would say like 2 months until his dad kind of sat us down. I don't know what he did, what numbers he ran, and we were like, he was like, "Are you guys sure you don't want this property?" Because I think what him driving around kind of scared us off. And he's like, "Are you sure you guys don't want this property?" And we're like, "Okay, well, what do you got?" Sat us down, said the numbers. He was like, "This is really going to work. Like all the numbers work. We just have to figure out how we're going to get
the money,
the loan to be able to purchase this property."
Okay.
That's when the house and the lien with the bank and all
so
that.
we actually had, they have a family friend that had a good relationship with Farmers Bank. Shout out Farmers Bank. And he sat us down. He trusted us. I mean, it was a really tough deal to actually, I would say, underwrite, because the portfolio has to be sold together. So it's like 10 properties on one plat. Like they're not separate.
So you get 10 houses or 3 if you subdivide them.
Oh, okay.
So
Gotcha.
whenever they went to appraise, like they were like, how do we appraise these properties? Because there's no 10 properties on one, whatever.
So they don't have like their own parcel IDs and whatnot? Okay, gotcha.
And so
it's a multifamily. It's a
multifamily.
It's a 10-unit multifamily that just happened to be single
detached. Back in the day, everything flew.
Yeah.
Exactly, and then the rules change a little later.
And so, we made it happen, and right now it's going to be basically what we'll...
And this deal, man, we paid $35K. I keep saying the number 35. It's just how
that's y'all lucky numbers, huh?
How it happened. Like,
still lucky numbers. You ain't finding that in Springfield no more.
$350,000 for all 10. And the rent was $400 at the time.
Okay.
And we went in there and just started talking to people. Everybody started leaving after they knew what we wanted to do with the property. In our head, in our minds, we wanted the rent to be $950 by the time we were done with it. Right? A little bit more than double. We'll do everything, make it look good, $950. From $950, we said, I think we can push $1,100. We're at $1,650 right now on rent.
Per door?
Per door. And we're doing a midterm rental on one of them just to test it out. We went, spent like $6,000 on Amazon, order a bunch of stuff, and that's bringing $2,400 a month through midterm rental.
Just one of them.
Just one of them. And that's with the 20% discount that we're supposed to get through Airbnb and all that.
Yeah, and our mortgage is only $2,100.
That's crazy. That's crazy. So like, basically, y'all bought this property before COVID, and then COVID came and we had a big rent explosion. And a lot of us that, I say us because I feel like if you started investing since like after the last crash, then you kind of knew, because the market has been on a constant upward trend. We ain't had nothing that really like disrupted the market.
Right.
But you got the idea of that cliche quote of don't wait to buy real estate and wait. Because you were underwriting it for what, $950 rent, and then the rental market just exploded, and it's at $1,600. One thing that don't go backwards is rent.
Yeah. Right.
So I mean, bro, that's shit. Shout out to y'all for that. Yeah. That's crazy. I bet y'all want another deal like that, huh?
Just like that.
Yeah. And I almost sold it. I almost sold it. People were offering like $1 million, $1.2 million. And I was walking the property with a real estate agent.
Okay.
And the buyer. And she kept talking to the buyer like, oh, they're going to do Starbucks. Facebook is bringing a data center to Gallatin, and they're doing Publix and this, this new construction subdivision. And by the time they were gone, I called her. I was like, I don't want to sell it anymore. She sold it right back to me. I was like, I think it's worth us putting the money. That's the other bad thing. The bank literally just lended $350. That's it.
For the purchase.
Oh, so y'all had to get it out the mud for the renovation.
So we're doing like out of pocket. Deal. It's like everything
has been out of pocket.
And it's been like $35 to $45, depending on how bad the house is, to repair each one of them. And then we spent like $50 alone cutting trees, driveway, new septic tanks on every single one of them. So it's been quite a bit of money.
Project.
So and at the same time, you still working your job?
I'm still working my job. Yeah, I'm still working my job. And literally up until last November, we were both basically like on our, like I was doing everything. It was another big transition for me because I was having the steady income for such a long time, and then for us to all of a sudden just cut it out.
Yeah.
I feel like we needed that challenge to be able to continue to push forward, because if you're comfortable in an area, like you're like, I'm good. I'm making money. I can travel whenever I want. Basically, my job was pretty flexible, but it was just not. It wasn't my calling. It wasn't what I wanted to do forever. I was like, I want something more. There's something better here in real estate, and so that's when I took that leap. It was really a leap of faith, because real estate is so up and down. There's not really a way of knowing, is it really going to work out? Like, am I gonna have to go back full time to my job? And so far, I mean, 7 months, and we're cruising. We're doing
7 months and 4 months of couples therapy.
That is true. That is true.
Yeah.
So
I want y'all to talk about that. So having a real estate empire and being married, like how y'all balance all that?
I'll tell you this, like, we schedule time off.
Okay.
Right? Like, I have Sundays, right? I have Mondays, and everything's planned. Everything's, talked ahead.
Okay.
But we were having issues because it's like 24/7 together, doing business. Business is not always smooth.
Yeah.
And when we're doing business together, it's not the best thing.
Y'all mixing business and pleasure, huh?
we're business partners.
They say don't mix business and pleasure. But y'all right up in there with it. So.
You just got to know how to do it.
Yeah. Okay.
We have been married for years. We've been together for 10 years. This was like a new chapter. And we weren't doing okay. Like, it just it wasn't working. We didn't know how to navigate it. And it wasn't that we were like, oh, we're gonna get a divorce. Like, we've never broken up in a relationship before, but it wasn't healthy.
It was just a tough time because we had no idea what we were doing. I mean, it was just something completely new. He at least had 3 days out of the week when I was working in the hospital, if not more. And
so you feel like I'm working in the hospital, I'm working real estate, and
oh my gosh,
you got some times where you chilling a little bit. So you like
exactly. And so I leave my job.
What did you call it? What do you call it?
What?
We can't say it on here, but she calls it a word. She's like, I'm over here at work, and you're just out there,
we can't say that.
All right, we go.
But I think that I was in a really tough spot because I was working full-time in the hospital and sometimes working overtime and doing these contracts to get extra money and stuff. And on top of that, I'm dealing with half of the business, like all the transactions, all the coordination of closings, making sure everything is run smoothly. I'm taking phone calls at work on my breaks, and I'm like, oh yeah, like, wait, why isn't this closing? Wait, you want to drop out of this deal? Calling Jose, and I'm like, hey, this is what's going on, but don't call me right now because I'm working. My break ends in 10 minutes. Like, it was a lot going on, so I felt like I was like, I need this break. So I leave my job, and I basically go into, like, relax mode. I'm like, don't message me. Don't talk to me. I'm on vacation. I'm on vacation. I don't want to hear anything regarding work. And so, we're huge with traveling, and so that was another big thing because we had another big transition. We were like, we need to move out of our apartment. We got our house. We had a huge trip planned, and we had to cancel it because we had to remodel our home.
Yeah.
I think so many of those, like, tiny things just kind of, like, lined up, and we were, like, so stressed. Both he was stressed, I was stressed. It was just a lot. And we met this wonderful angel, Ludmila. I'll have to let you know to, like, tag her, put her somewhere. She's such an amazing. She, like, works on, like, personal, professional growth. Like, she's such a good person, and she helped us navigate through the whole process of, like, how to communicate in business, because I mean, me and him are business partners. When we talk business, we talk business, it's serious. I mean, at the end of the day, like, yes, we're married, but we also, like, have to make these really, like, big decisions.
I like what he said earlier. He said it was something we didn't know. It was something we had to learn.
Yeah.
And I think that's like, a lot of people just not willing to learn in life. They just think either you got it or you don't. But it's like, nah, the people that you know, you get to certain parts where you might be stuck or at a plateau and you go learn. So y'all went into couples therapy and y'all learned how to communicate in business. And, you know, it's not.
She's the perfect person for this.
Yeah.
Because she does couples therapy, but she does like personal development. And she works with people that are specifically doing business.
In the business.
Okay.
You know, like it's.
How y'all found her?
Through our friends.
Through our friends. Yeah. Okay. The same, you know, but she. When we first did it, they recommended it. They were like, "Oh, it's great." But in my head, I was like, you know, being Cuban, like we don't do therapy.
Therapy's not a big thing in our culture either.
And she said, you know, we should do this. I said yes, just to do it for her. But in my head, I was like, you know what? I don't cry. I don't stress out. I don't need these things. Like, I'm just gonna do it for her. Like, I don't need it, but let me be there for her. We started doing it. Exactly. We started doing it. And, you know, she does her own sessions. I do my own sessions.
Yeah.
We're not doing anything together. First session, second one, I'm like, crap. Like, I'm in my head.
Yeah.
I'm like, she's right. Like, back in 5th grade, this happened. And that stuck with me. You know? Back in freshman year, like, this happened. That stuck with me.
So pulling them layers back.
Coming from Cuba.
Getting to the root.
Coming from Cuba to United States and not fitting in, that stuck with me. Like, a lot of these things, you know? And she's like, no, you don't have to. Like, that's just trauma, you know, that you're going through. Like, that's not the norm, you know? So now
fast forward, like, I think we did like 3 or 4 months of work with her. And I mean, it's been just like literally smooth sailing since then, because we know how to communicate in business. We know boundaries. We give each other the time and the space that we need. And so that way we can do really good in business and be able to draw that line and say, no, like, we are not talking about business anymore. We are.
You definitely draw that line, because y'all travel a lot.
Yes, we do.
Y'all go to, I mean, I look up, y'all was in Japan a few weeks ago.
Yeah, but for example, like, we got that really good deal in Antioch while we were in Dominican Republic in our 10-year anniversary. So we still work while we're on vacation, and we still lock up deals when we're on vacation. It's just not. Just
knowing how to turn off the switch. Like, it's 7 p.m. Like, it was 9:30 p.m. yesterday, and I was still getting messages.
He was getting calls back to back to back from
contractors. I don't pick them up.
All right, so I'm happy y'all talking about that right now, because y'all real estate like career has been like an elevation every single year. Yes. And we met, you know, and when we first met, I was fascinated about y'all, just like vice versa. Yeah, I didn't know you had a job till like the 5th time we met. You said something. I'm like, you work? You know, but y'all's career, like, y'all added a piece to y'all's business and started going direct to seller marketing. What made y'all want to do
that? Things change, right? I like to say that, you know, compared to everybody else, we did things a little bit backwards.
You got into development first.
I started building houses, you know, and then when I built them, I used that capital to buy rentals, right? And when I got all the rentals that I needed, then I started flipping houses, right? And now...
you literally did it backwards.
Yeah, and now I'm sitting there flipping houses, and I'm like...
Okay, need more deals.
Now I can flip them, I can hold them as rentals, and I can build... You know, if I need to, if it's like really bad condition, or if it's, you know, land, I can build them. So I can do those 3. Now I need good deals, right? And then you go out, MLS, you know, 1 out of 1,000 maybe is a deal. Wholesalers, you can find deals through wholesalers, but they're gonna be tight.
You paying that markup too.
Exactly. They're gonna be tighter deals. You know, you're always paying somebody for their work, which, hey, I mean, that's got to get done. So that's when we came and spoke with you, and we saw what you were doing, and it was like perfect timing, because she was getting out of work. We needed to be on the same page. I feel like I knew a little bit about the business and everything that had to be done, but I like to be on the same page with her. So we joined your program. And the reason why we joined that program is just to get a bigger profit window, you know.
Correct.
Improve the margin on your deals. So like we were talking about before this, like sometimes you don't have to do a large volume of deals to still make a lot of money, and just adding that element to your business.
Yeah.
I mean, we was looking at some of the deals that you would already buy, and I'm like, I mean, look, you could make 30 wholesaling this.
Yeah.
You could take this down and you know what I mean? So
you're a wholesaler, right? Let's say you run into that 10 property deal for $350.
Yeah, I'm getting that off. When I first started,
you know,
I'm selling it.
But you would have sold it to me for $600.
Exactly.
And that still would have been a deal for me, you know. But there's a huge difference in direct to seller than
we wanted to be a little bit more in control of what we did with our deals. We wanted to create that pipeline that we could choose whatever we wanted to do, but for our business.
Yeah.
You know, not necessarily for we just want to be wholesalers or we just want to be flippers. No, we want to be real estate professionals that know how to do all of the things, that we can choose whatever we want to do that works for us. Like whatever works for us, that's ideally what we wanted to do. So I felt like joining Triple M was just kind of that last little bit of that last layer that we needed to be able to be as well-rounded as we can.
Well-rounded real estate investor.
Exactly.
And your program is not just wholesaling, right? Because if I look at it wholesaling, I'm like, I pay money for wholesaling.
Yeah.
No, bro, like the people you brought on, you know, at the events, the relationships, the fact that now there's a community and everybody's in the same field. Like everybody's bringing on deals, everybody's working on some type of flip. There's subs being shared between everybody. There's new documents being shared, new technology now with AI. So a lot of information going on. So, you know, for people that think and they're like, oh, I got to pay money. I paid money for Ludmila. You know, that helped us in our relationship and our business. You know, obviously your program costs money because that's your time. Like you're not just going to sit there. And
then it's investing into yourself too at the same time.
Exactly.
You
so
know?
you have to, at one point, yes, you can go to YouTube, you can go to Facebook, you know, all these places and get information because that's kind of how I started. But once I learned that you can pay and skip like
a lot of steps. Yeah.
You know, you can skip a year of mistakes but you do have to make sure that you're looking at the right person. 100%.
Vet the person. Like if they not in the business, and like even though I have education, you'll see like I'm in the field with it. You know what I'm saying? I'm in the business. I'm learning the business every single day because I don't believe there's ever a point where you know everything.
Right.
You know, you could always learn because the market always learning.
Yeah.
What I mean by that is the market always adjusting, is changing. So whenever you have a community atmosphere to be a part of, you know, okay, what's working right now? What are you guys doing? You know, how have you adjusted with the market? So that's the main thing about building that community, because business truly is relationships. Yeah. It really is. And like, although wholesaling is how we got started, it's not how we end in this business. Like you said earlier, it's a strategy that, hey, I know that I need to learn sales and marketing to, one, generate leads, and then two, close those leads. But once I got the contract, we get on the phone a lot and we talk about deals. I'm like, hey, y'all can wholesale this.
We always are
y'all could buy it and flip it. I mean, you could buy it and hold it as a rental. You know, so I mean, at the end of the day, who don't like options? That's how I feel. So
you know how much the market changes?
Every 3 years.
No, I'm saying when I started in Springfield, I had every single scrap metal guy, you know, guys that go around picking up, you know, ranges, all type of scrap metal. And the guys that went around, not the professional, but the guys that went around cutting yards and stuff like that. I told them, I'll give you $500 for every deal you bring and I close on.
They right there working.
What do scrap metals do? Drive around everywhere looking for scrap. A house that, you know, and they would just write it. They didn't even text. Write it, find me again, and say, look, this address, that address, this address, that address.
And that's probably like, what, a few days worth of work for them to make $500.
Exactly.
So, I mean, I just like how, I mean, just all throughout y'all's journeys, like y'all used your resources. I think the number one thing is vision. Before we like get to wrapping up, like how important y'all think it is to like y'all had that relationship and partnership in business. Like for anybody that's watching this, that they might be in a relationship or a partnership in trying to grow a business. Do y'all think, like, if you was to do it again, you would definitely do it, like, together?
Oh, 100%. Like,
Okay.
I love that we have created a business that, like, we both know everything about the businesses, so that if I did at some point have to do it on my own, I could. But it's so nice having the support from your significant other, bounce ideas off of each other. And honestly, it's a good kind of like balance and good quality time that we also do whenever we're like looking at deals and like we're at home like talking or eating dinner and we're like going through deals together. And it's nice to be able to have somebody who wants it just as much as you do because it's something that you've built together. So I think there's no better way. I definitely do think that there has to be these boundaries that you have to put early on. If not, like it's hard. I mean, it's difficult to be able to balance everything, but I wouldn't have done it any other way. I think
we're so different that it's like good.
Yeah.
You know? Like
I like that, bro.
Yeah.
And then it's like, we all minorities here, so y'all probably ain't getting nothing passed down.
right.
But y'all kids go,
yeah.
you know, and we talk about, you know, the whole getting ahead or catching up in certain situations, and that's how you set your family up for successes.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, shoot, your kids got 2 successful real estate investors to learn from.
Right.
They got a portfolio that's probably going to be sitting there waiting from them.
100%.
It's a lot. So I like that, man. Shout out to y'all. Appreciate y'all for coming on the show.
For sure.
Leave the viewers with one thing, you know, the best piece of advice y'all could give us.
Best piece of advice. Wow, I wasn't expecting that. I would say that the time in the day is very important. Like watch how you spend that time.
Okay.
You know? Like you only have, I don't know how many seconds, there's a number out there, but if you're spending that time on social media consuming, not creating, if you're spending that time on people that aren't giving back, you know, the same amount of benefits that you're giving them, time is going to fly by. You're going to be 30 years old and you're going to be like, what am I doing? Or you're going to be 40 or 50 and you're not going to be...
Now that regret start kicking in.
So if you can spend the time on the right things with the right people, head in the right direction, like there's no stopping you.
Yeah,
I like
and
that.
I think for me, it's making sure you have the right people around you. I feel like your circle is everything, and if you're hanging around people who have nothing to do with what you're doing or just wasting your time, that's exactly just what they're doing. They're wasting your time. They're not helping you get better, and if anything, you're helping them get better because you're the highest person for them. You know, you're the people that they look up to. Find people that you look up to so that you can grow, and I feel like that has been one of our biggest things for us for growth, because so many people just want to be in that circle, but it's just to get better, but they're not doing anything for us.
Nah, I love that. You are who you hang around.
That's right.
Yeah, 100%.
Let's go. Boom. We done.